Okay, guys, in this podcast, I want to get to some questions that I've actually got in from a few of you guys, and a few of these questions I've actually pulled up off the message board when people are talking. I guess a lot of guys that are out there want to reply, and I don't think they want to act like they don't want to be like assholes or anything and reply to these people. But guys, there's and I was talking to Billy about this the other day. There's a bunch of dumb effing questions on these message boards that people put out, and nobody calls anybody out. That's what I don't understand. There's a bunch of guys that know, I'm looking for Masenko to actually go off on these people, but I know that, and I've actually talked to Mike about this. Is there's so many people out there posting shit on message boards that don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they go out there and spew all this shit, and a lot of people believe it. I mean, and which is not true. And I want to get to a lot of these questions that I caught. I actually, in the last couple of years, I pulled them questions off of the message board, and I kept them on the side. And I'm actually going to get to a few of these in these podcasts. But I was talking to Mike not too long back. I said, Mike, why don't you just jump on there and tell him, you lying ass? You don't know what the hell you're talking about. But Mike's not in that position where he can do that. Mike's not out there to, he's not out there to piss anybody off, or if you get to him one-on-one and you actually ask him, his opinion on how bats are made or what's his opinion on bat, Mike will actually be truthful to you. But Mike's not that kind of a guy that will get out there and actually start telling, on the message board and telling all these people what his opinion is, because that's just not him. He's not that. He doesn't try to stir up shit with all these people or getting arguments on these message boards with all these seniors guys that actually think they know anything about bats. Billy's the same way too. Billy doesn't give a shit. Your theory's your theory. Billy's his. He doesn't really care about what yours is. Billy's tested so many bats in his lifetime that Billy's kind of got the corner. Anything new that you'll throw at Billy, he's gonna blow you off on weighted bats, or how you hit the bat, how a bat can hit further than this bat can hit further than the other bat. But I've pulled a lot of these questions off the message board, and I want to talk about them, and I'm going to tell you my opinion about them. I don't care if I piss anybody off. I'm not making any money doing this, and my deal is to get a lot of people educated on bats, on my opinion, guys. And like I said in previous podcast that I put out there, this is just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. I got about 800 videos out on YouTube, and I catch shit from a lot of people trying to tell me what their theory is, and I'm not putting it out there for debate, guys. This is the deal about me too. You either like it or you don't. I mean, I try to shoot straight from the hip. I try to tell you exactly what I think, and that kind of pisses a lot of people off. And I have pissed a lot of people off because, you come up and ask me my opinion, and then I give you my opinion. You want to argue with me about it, and I don't want to hear it. I don't want to argue with you about it. I don't want to try to change you, because if you guys know this too, once you get past a certain age, it's hard to change a senior softball player. Once you get past that age, and I'm gonna throw an age out there. I think it's 40, and when you get to 50, it's hard. When you get to 60, there ain't no changing you, bud. And I tell you what, I've argued tooth and nail with softball players about my opinion about what how many bats you should carry in your bag, and my theory is you should only carry one bat in your bag, and you should hit with that bat all year long. Well, I get in arguments with guys saying that, well, he's got 2 or 3 bats or 4 bats in his bag and he hits with them in a tournament. And I tell them, well, I'll tell you what, I'll out hit you in a tournament. If I walk up to you and you got that many bats in your bag, I already know you're a 500 hitter. And this is just my opinion. Okay, this is not black and white, guys. I'm telling you, the percentages are that you're a 500 hitter. Now, there's some freaks out there that can hit above 500, swinging 5 different bats in a damn tournament. You're a freak. I'm just saying, the average person out there, if you're swinging 2 bats in a tournament, okay, the guy that's swinging at 1 bat all year long will out-hit you in that tournament. And I try to tell people, this is what, and too many seniors out there like having them 2 bats in their bat bag, and I keep on telling them you don't do that. And I learned this from Billy back in the 80s. Billy would always have 1 bat in his bat bag. And here's another thing too. A lot of you guys don't know this either, but Billy swung a 26-ounce bat end loaded most of his life. And right now, it's June right now, 2015. Billy is swinging again a 26-ounce Dudley, because I don't know if you guys know this or not. I'm gonna kind of get into the Dudley a little bit. Is Dudley, and I've cut the Dudley open, and I've cut the Reebok. The Dudley and the Reebok are loaded exactly the same. They have ball bearings in the end of their bats, which I think is an awesome way of loading it. Mikan loads their bats from the handle. The last Mikan that I could right now. I mean, I don't know right now because I haven't cut one open, but 6 months ago I cut one open. And Mikan loads their bats with not as dense material as a Reebok or a Dudley. So, in my opinion, and Billy says this too, is you can actually swing a lighter Dudley and get a lot of bat speed, but you have dense end load. The end load is a lot more denser than any other bat, so you're going to get a lot more bat speed and a little, in my opinion, guys, because of the way the Dudley's loaded and the way the Reebok used to be loaded, you're going to get a little bit more distance. You're going to get a little bit more exit speed with the Dudley and the Reebok. Well, Reebok's no more, but a lot of people are still out there selling the Reebok. So if you can get a hold of a Reebok. Now, here's the deal, too, that somebody asked me a question about, and I've got this question probably 5 times within the last 6 months, and this is just my personal opinion about the Reebok. I would not buy a Reebok that was made last year, because they quit making them last year. So, and I know nobody's going to tell you this, but if you got a 2014 Reebok, that's not going to be a very good bat. And here's my theory on that. And I've tested them from 2014, and I had buddies of mine that said they just, a lot of seniors down here in San Antonio said they just can't get any performance on it. Out of the 2014. If you got it in 2013, which I swung Reebok in 2013, they were very hot for me, bats, and mainly because of the way they were loaded and the carbon they used in the Reebok. And the same technology is done to the Dudley too. But in my opinion, a lot of people ask me about the generations of Reebok, and this is just my personal opinion. The 2014 is not as hot as the 2013. And the way I think about it too, and I try not to, I'm not going to get too far into it, is Reebok knew they were going out of business the year before they started making bats. So I think, as in any company, you tend to not build it as good. And this is any company out there. When you know that your contract's up, you tend to buy shitty material to put into that bat, and you just kind of write out your contract because you know it's not going to go further than that year. So I tell people, if you got a 2014, it's not going to be as hot. It's going to be not a bad bat. It's not going to crack as like the 2013s, but you're not going to get the performance out of it. It's still loaded the same, guys, but it just takes a longer time to break in, if you notice that. And there's a reason why. It's because their contract was up. In my opinion, that's what I think. I could be wrong, but from what I've heard and what I've hit with them, a lot of buddies of mine had them, and I've actually took them out and hit with them, and I said, this is not the 2013 Reebok. And even when you're buying them at the end of 2013, and you guys, I know a lot of you guys agree with me, they weren't as hot as the earlier bats that were out there. So that was one of the questions that I got actually sent to me. Another question was, if you guys remember a lot of my younger videos, from when I first started doing this, 4 years ago, when I really started getting really serious into this, I would put my distances on my videos to tell you guys how far the balls would travel. Well, I quit doing this, and there's a few reasons why I quit doing this, because there's a lot of jackasses out there, a lot of trolls, I call them, and it's funny because I joke about this, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I kind of want to talk about these guys, these trolls, because there's trolls everywhere. There's trolls on the message board, that'll actually want to argue with anybody, and there's trolls that'll actually troll my channel, that will rip my ass or rip Billy's ass or just call us names. It doesn't bother me. I don't give a shit. I really don't care. But what I did was I quit putting my distances on my videos, because we're hitting on a baseball field. So if you can have a softball bat, senior bat, that you can hit them out of a baseball field, you can hit them. That, in my opinion, that's a pretty good bat. When the wind's not blowing, wind's blowing out pretty good, any bat's going to hit them out of a baseball field if you got a little bit of home run power. But when the wind's not blowing, and we're hitting 44 core balls, 375 compression, and my balls are probably 4 years old right now. I probably need to start looking at getting a new batch of BP balls. But I quit putting them out there because I got a lot of feedback from a lot of dickheads out there. Actually, that were softball players, but a lot of them were kids. There were a few senior guys calling me out, calling Billy out, calling bullshit. Like if we hit a 400 foot shot, they would call bullshit on it. There's no way we can tell. Well, dude, I don't give a shit if you believe me or not. I really don't. I can care less if you believe me or not. This is something that I'm not making any money off this, guys. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just telling you my honest opinion. And if you look at my videos, I don't hit a lot of 400-foot home runs. And I kind of laugh about this, and I'm talking to Billy about it too. And we were eating and the other day, and I was talking about it. I said, it's so funny when you get and you see 450 foot. You see this, a guy hit a 450-foot home run or a 425-foot home run, and this guy hit 400-foot home runs 3 times in a row. You know how fucking hard it is to hit a 400-foot home run? Even if you're fucking not being a senior, for a regular guy that's in his 30s and 40s that just goes out there, 400-foot home runs, that's a long fucking way. So when I see BP videos, and a guy goes, this one went 420 foot, and you see his nasty ass fucking swing. There's so much shit, and a lot of the pros out there, if you guys listen to my channel, which I know you fucking don't, because the main people that listen to my channel, you're AA and AAA guys that want to get better. A lot of you guys that play Major Plus won't listen to this shit. But I'm telling you this right now. For you to fucking hit a 400-foot home run, everything's got to fucking connect. The swing's got to be good. Okay, the pitch has got to be good. The wind has got to be good. Everything's got to come together. Now, if you were fucking doing that 4 or 5 times in a row, what the fuck, dude? You ought to be playing somewhere where, you ought to be on the Bombers fucking tour. If you can hit a 400-foot home run every fucking time you get up. And it makes me fucking laugh when I get on YouTube and I see these guys that have ugly-ass fucking swings, and they get up there, and I'm not just calling seniors out. I'm telling everybody. I see these kids get up there, and they have these ugly-ass swings, and they hit the ball 400 feet. I don't even think they can do it with a damn evil freaking stadium ball, that ugly-ass swing that they had. And then they talk about how far they hit it, But it's hard, guys. It is hard to hit a fucking 400-foot home run. And I have it marked off where we hit, we hit it almost, and I have it marked off where we hit. And very seldom, guys, and I've probably taken BP, I'll probably take 60 cuts in BP. I'll hit 400 foot probably 2 times. Okay? Billy the same. Billy hit 400 foot probably 2 times. So a lot of these guys talk about hitting these bombs. Tell you what, and we're hitting 44, 375 compression balls. You're hitting stadium balls if you're freaking doing that. I'm telling you right now. So it is very hard to hit a 400-foot home run. Now, if you hit a 400-foot home run, in my opinion, like on my website, I've actually got the 400-foot club. All the bats that I've tested that I've hit 400-foot home runs with, are 400 feet with, that I actually got on my website that I got up there, and these are the bats that I've actually reached 400 feet with, and there's probably 5, that I've tested that I've hit that far with. But it's funny whenever I get back to what I'm talking about, like getting like taking all my stuff off there. I don't want the bullshit. I don't want the comments coming out you know, calling anybody. And this is so funny because a lot of you guys will Google, you know, and when I say what's 340 or 330 to left, well, what you'll do is you'll Google the actual field, and then I'll get an email from somebody going, Dave, it's not 330 foot to left, it's 315. You know, you were wrong. You need to start. And I'm going, bitch, you know, it's 315 to the bottom of the fence. We're not hitting fucking balls to the bottom of the fence. When I say 330 to left, I mean how far we got to fucking hit it out. So that kind of gets me. And these are senior guys that I know that'll actually be telling me this. Well, Dave, you're wrong. It's not 330. No, we got to hit it 330 to get over the fence. I'm not going to tell you it's 300, you know, where we hit that ball 315 feet, because that's to the bottom of the fence. And when you Google it, it goes to the bottom of the fence. You got to hit it 15 to 20 feet over, depending on how high or if it's a line drive, it's even further, you know. So that's what I mean when I say that. Well, I got tired of answering questions about if they thought it was 400 or shit like that, or calling me out. I just didn't want to deal with it. So I quit putting distance. And when I tell you what I do now, though, is when I hit a good one, and when it's going to be a good bat, I'll actually talking to the camera about that ball went a long ways. And even after, I got into talking after how far the ball went. So I figured I wasn't going to put the distance on there. I would just talk about it a little bit more. That way, you know, I'll quit pissing people off. Well, that's it with this one. I'm going to put another one out. I want to try to get these out every couple of weeks, guys. So just stay tuned. I'm going to get the next one out. And thanks for listening.